Found yourself looking around lately and wondering, what the heck is going on? None of this makes any sense. All of this is crazy. Well, guess what, folks? The only way we can explain it is that it is spiritual. And something very spiritual is happening right now in a very dark place. And there are demonic evil forces that are behind all of it. Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. I am looking at an article, and this is terrible, folks. This is terrible. It says this: UK punishes thought crime of praying silently at abortion facilities. Folks, this is true. This came out last week, March the 9th, and it says this: British police will continue to arrest Christians for the crime, yes, it's a crime, folks, of praying within hundreds of feet of an abortion facility after the UK Parliament voted down an amendment that would have legalized silent prayer, a situation Christians have described as a dystopian ban on pro-life thought crime, right? Guys, think about how crazy this is. That means that there are regimes all over the world that are beginning to make normal the idea that even if you think something incorrectly, you can actually go to prison for it. And the reality of it is, they want you to do what Satan has always wanted you to do, and that is to cease having communication with the Lord. They want you to stop giving your feelings, your hearts, your desires, your thoughts to the Lord. Why? Because Satan has inspired them to think that way. You guys think it's a coincidence every single time you go and you pray and you feel like you just can't get a word out edgewise? Maybe it's one of those things where you can't sleep to save your life, yet when you sit down on a rigid, hard chair so that you can pray without falling asleep, you fall asleep like a baby. You ever wondered why that happened? You ever wondered why at church, when it's a prayer meeting, nobody shows up, yet when it's something else, the place will be packed? Folks, it's because this is spiritual, and understand this. From the very beginning, Satan has never wanted us to communicate with God. He tried to break our communication from God with Adam and Eve, when Adam and Eve sinned against God, and their sin completely damaged their relationship with God. He tried to destroy Christ in a way that would keep him from going to the cross so that our fellowship would never be restored with God. He has, from the very beginning, done everything that he could to keep us from communicating with the Lord, because he knows that we are engaged in a spiritual battle, and that battle is important, especially as it relates to prayer. And the most valuable, critical, and important tool that we have is the one to go before the Lord in prayer. And by the way, folks, this is not some new invention of Satan. This is the same old trick that he has been using throughout the years. If you don't believe me, go back and read the story of Daniel. When Daniel got thrown in the lion's den because he chose to pray to the true and living God, it was a thought crime to do so. Why? Because the demand of that time was to pray only to the king who did not deserve Daniel's prayers. Satan's good at this, folks. And just like the Lord protected Daniel from the lion's den and caused that protection to bring the king to a place of glorifying him, folks, understand this: God will do the same thing for us. We need to continue to pray. We need to continue to seek God. We need to continue to ask God for help in all that we do. And God will go before us, because, folks, this is a very spiritual war, and we need to engage in it, because if we don't, we're dead in the water, folks. It's time to wake up. God bless you. Time to pray.